My name's PJ Williams. I'm the current sharemilker here for Normandy Lands. We're situated just out of Matamata at Waharoa. The effective hectares here is 96 hectares, milking just over 300 cows, and we're running a system. So the cow shed's 28 side herringbone. We just had an old standoff area that was probably 200 metres long by 10 metres wide that used to house all the cows in the winter with post chip, and you used to tear your hair out by 2 months into the winter. It would be all muddy and ucky and cows up to there about. The effluent from the old cow shed used to go directly into a clay lined pond and then got stored there and got slurry tankers in to pump around the farm once or twice a year. That's probably a key driver. One of the things we did it because the farm was getting hammered in the winter. I mean, and also your spring planter in the dry. You could never keep that on that plan because it got so wet. You're either moving the cows on because you couldn't stand them on the yard anymore or on your old standoff area because it got too wet or the cows were too sore on their feet. The major challenges we had with the effluent system was being compliant, basically. You know, holding your breath for someone to come along and check that you were A-OK. We were borderline, to be honest. We were in the legal parameters, but we were borderline, so it was time to bring everything into the 21st century. We looked at, well, first of all, we poo-hooed the weeping wool, basically, because it's got a bad rap. And usually some companies just make one size to fit all. So we looked at wedges and big stone traps, and I kept walking away from them all because I knew there's something out there. And then luckily we come across Archway group that had a weeping wool that actually was designed, engineered, structurally designed. And also that was a key driver that we went with this system because it had to be simple. It's not just myself can use it, but my children come down here and use it as well. You give them one set of instructions, they know it's just two buttons to screw open or whatever, and it's done. Whole effluent system is contained. Doesn't matter how wet the winter is, we've got a system that's been purpose built for this farm. In the winter now, when it rains, because it's covered in, you don't wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, where the hell am I going to put the cows? They go in there, you know, your effluent system is up to scratch, and it's simple. With the shading, your cows are at the paddock at 9 o'clock at the gate waiting for them to come in, and there's probably 5 to 8 degrees cooler in the barn than outside. So another good factor is they were in there most of the day till 6 o'clock at night, and you're keeping them off the high spore count grasses, so it's great. One of the biggest wins is labour saving and time, because at the end of the day, time's money. I mean, you feed out everything's exactly by the shed itself. You're not spending 3 or 4 hours a day feeding out. Everything's utilised, which is really important these days because the cost of feed. So, you know, it gets fed out on a concrete pad. The cows go in there and totally utilise what you feed out. And instead of taking 4 hours, it's only taking half an hour to feed out. It takes longer to load up than to feed out now. So, yeah, because we've got a weeping wool that separates the solids. And then the green water goes into the new effluent pond, and that's brought back through the winter and through the season as a green flood wash. So your take is more than you give in the winter, so your pond level stays down. Yeah, but the thing is, the irrigator stands idle quite a bit because we're using the green water a lot for the cleaning of the shed. So no fresh water is used in the barn. It's all recycled green water. We have got a freshwater system in there. If once a year we go through and give it all a clean down. You set your spring planter up in the dry and you stay there. You don't have, you actually go above it because sometimes you can leave them in there for 24 hours plus. You know, they've got feed, they're happy, clean, sheltered, warm, and man, do they put some weight on because they're warm. The system that we've put in has not increased our workload, it's decreased it. Because, you know, like, so we all know what it's like in calving when it's rainy and wet, you let the cows over and it's a big mad rush to get the calves in. Now you wind the reel up, call the cows, they know exactly where they're going, they go in and they walk to the barn themselves, and you draft out your springers or your calvers. It's great, and you take your raincoat off and you walk through and everything's sorted. One of the big things that we looked at, everybody said to me, oh, our bloody flood wash doesn't work, and oh, this and that. So we had a look at a few and we thought, oh, yep. And but the key for a flood wash is to have good separation from the solids, and that's where the Archway group comes in. Their design of their weeping wool separates your solids completely. The big thing is not to get complicated, keep it simple. I mean, you don't want all the bells and, I mean, some people like bells and whistles, that's cool, have that on your car, but with effluent, keep it simple. Have it, talk to the right people, look around, and like so with Archway, you can totally trust them, and that's the hard thing to find in the rural sector these days. So these guys, what they say is what they do. It took a bit to work out, but luckily Matt from Archway, he's got a clear goal in mind for your farm, and he sits down, listens to you and lets you have a spiel, and then he goes away and comes back with his plan, and by the end of it you do Matt's plan, because he's done it before, and what he says is what he does. He maps it all out. He doesn't actually just put it on site, he makes it look good as well. That's important, but there's a lot of work underground that goes on before you start pouring concrete, and that's one of his specialties. We started in April, earthworks, and it was April 17, and we finished in October the 18th, 2017. Basically, I suppose one thing I could say about Archway is we've had a bit of a joke around here that there's an old saying that Rome wasn't built in a day, but I'm sure Matt would give it a good go.